Good afternoon. Today is the 27th of May, and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague, and probably quite boring vlog. So, the weather today in Hampshire is not particularly wonderful, and I was going to be filming a Fiat Barchetta today, but it's been postponed because, getting the roof off the Barchetta today wouldn't be the driest affair, I think. So instead, we're going to record this week's very vague vlog. I was thinking the other day about something, actually, and it occurred when I was watching Chop's Garage. Now, I've been a regular viewer of Chop's Garage for a long time, and I very much respect what James tends to say. I've been in touch with him once or so, and there's not really an awful lot that me just sort of say to him. He's a very successful channel, and he runs his own dealership, so it's not quite the same as what I do. But he was looking at a Ford Focus. It was I think a 2009 Mark II facelift 2-litre titanium. And Mark II Focus is a pretty good car generally. You've got to watch for rust and some other things, but generally they're pretty good. One thing he surprisingly actually got incorrect, and he's got absolutely murdered in the comment section for this, is he called the engine in the 1.8 and the 2-litre. They're actually very similar to the engines. I think it's a 1.8 actually. He said it was the old Zetec SE engine, which it isn't. It's a chain-driven engine, a Mazda L engine, actually, they're called. Their badge is a Duratec HE, but they're actually a Mazda engine. And he was commenting about the fact that the car had done 139,000 miles, but was really, really nice. And he was wondering whether to retail it or not. Obviously, I happen to know, doing a lot of jobs for clients, that if they see a car that's done that kind of mileage, they would think it would be absolutely ragged and totally dead. But the car's not, apparently. It's really, really clean. Interior's nice, exterior's nice, lots and lots and lots of lovely service history. So what's the problem with this sort of whole kind of high mileage thing? Should you really be concerned about buying a car with that sort of mileage if everything else is good? Well, let's think about some of the cars that I've owned. This Nissan Sunny, for example. It had done about 80,000 miles from new, which for a car from 1989 is absolutely nothing. And of course, these back in the day did have rather a reputation for being very, very reliable. But the engine let go at 80,000 miles. The engine in this car has actually been replaced. It was replaced earlier this year. So, yeah, how about Mr. Richardson's Rover 75 from the Furious Driving channel? Again, nice low mileage Rover 75. Surely that's not going to have any problems. Yes, it's had lots. It's had to have I think a new cylinder head gasket and a timing belt and all kinds of things, and there's weird electronic problems with it, and you know. Then there's a Rover 75 that's appeared on the High Peak Autos channel at 24,000 miles with LPG conversion. I think both Mr. Richardson's car and one High Peak Autos, both within about a year, 2002, 2003. You would have thought with 24,000 miles, it can't possibly have had any problems, but that car's had a new cylinder head gasket. Obviously, a timing belt is due on age, that's nothing unusual, but the car's had a cylinder head gasket, like, well, virtually all of the K-Series engine Rovers these days, it's already had one. So, the owners also, with all the service history that Matt from High Peak Autos has got, the car's had a lot of work done. It's not like you can buy a low mileage car and do nothing to it. Often because the car has stood for such a long time, it kind of just needs lots of jobs. It could need recommissioning, it could need just basic things. You know, tyres tend to crack if the car's not being used. You still need to change the cam belt, even if not on mileage, on the age. You know, in a K-Series car, I think it's every sort of 6 years, something like that. So you don't get away with that, just buy a low mileage car and then just not doing anything to it. That's not really how it works. The Volvo that I've got, the S40, which is a 2006, a little bit newer, but it's done 123,000 miles. Because that car came to me through the owners club, and the chap who owns it just bought another Volvo, of course, because that's what Volvo owners tend to do. We've got stacks of history with the car, and it's, I suppose, low mileage for the year, but for a Volvo, it's especially low mileage, but it's not low. It's not like that car's valuable because of the low mileage. But yeah, it's actually in really good condition. The only problem we've really had with the car are boot struts. and also the electronics in the rear, the wiring. Apart from that, the car's in pretty good condition. The timing belt was changed in 2020. They're actually 10-year timing belt on those Volvo engines. And so that's been a good sort of car for daily use. I'm not particularly worried about the mileage being on that sort of medium to upper end of it. I'd rather drive around in a car that's done that than 50,000 miles, because I'd be afraid of putting the miles on it. That one, I'm not afraid of it at all. And actually, with the white block Volvo engine that's in that kind of 5-cylinder, they actually are more desirable to some people than low mileage ones. Mr. Coleman's Volvo V90 from 1998 that I've driven a few times, that's got over 200,000 miles on it, and to a Volvo owner, that's not just normal, that's kind of almost desirable to have a car with that sort of miles on it. Isn't that crazy? Like, to a Volvo owner, that's the proof that the car's been well maintained, it's been well looked after, and that you won't have any kind of problems in terms of having to recommission it and do delayed maintenance, because the car's probably had all the maintenance it's going to need. It's really crazy, but that's the case often with a lot of cars. They actually often do well if they have a high mileage and they're driven up down motorways. Now, that's not the case for everything, but there's the famous 840,000 mile Volvo 240 that I saw at Shedfest. Obviously, that car has survived not only due to the fact that Volvo 240s are very, very well known for doing high miles. It's also the fact that somebody's maintained that car meticulously over the course of many, many years. Otherwise, it wouldn't still be here. Whereas some sort of barn find that's on 20,000 miles, it's had in the garage for the last 20 years, it's going to need a heck of a lot of work to get it back up together. And maybe if you've done that work, you're not that then sort of kind of agreeable to it kind of being used on a daily basis. You don't want to have to do all that again. You want it to be a nice low mileage car for the next person who will then buy it. So it's a strange dichotomy between the sort of practicalities of running a car on a daily basis, which often will sort of result in miles being put on it, and something that you just want to just have because it's low mileage, but then you've got a lot of work to it. So I don't know, there's sort of arguments either way, but I don't think necessarily that you should be afraid of having a car that's got higher mileage, particularly as a daily car, because chances are that if you check all the history properly, it's been maintained quite well. It's been used often for sort of running up and down kind of the motorways, and it's a particularly new car. That tends to be a reason why it would be on that sort of mileage. So there we are. A video that's maybe not particularly as interesting as usual. Actually, a lot of videos I do on the channel aren't particularly interesting, are they? Because that's what very, very vlogs are. But I do hope that was food for thought for you. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more not particularly interesting and very vague music.